collectors and action figure fans, it's the one and only Off the Bottom is coming to with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the incredible support of my patron Stacy, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers masterpiece, MP-19 Plus Smokescreen. Now, believe it or not, about 6 years ago, we got this guy. And while I absolutely still love this figure, what Takara has been doing recently with their Plus series has been going back to some older figures and giving them more accurate G1 paint schemes. By revisiting those figures, they're also able to include some extra things such as new accessories, or in the case of Smokescreen, a little bit different look for them. Now, much like a lot of the newer Masterpiece figures, you do get this mailer box. It just says MP-19 Plus. There's nothing really else on there, a whole bunch of words and things of that nature. You got the Hasbro logo down there. I mean, they work together a lot. So I don't know what this is all about, but it is what it is. And then inside that, you do get this package. Now, it is a little bit different than the previous one. It's not just a reused one. They got new product shots on here, obviously showing off the new look for Smokescreen. You can see the MP-19 Plus. He's a Nissan Fairlady 280Z T. Got a new 35th anniversary logo thing right there. Side here has pretty much the same kind of stuff, but you come around to the back and you have different product shots. It does even look like I went back and I watched my old video, and one thing that I noticed is some of the characters here are a little bit different, so I don't know if they've changed the bio or anything of that nature. That'd be interesting to know. But you see all of his accessories and how you can have him interact with new figures such as the MP-44 Optimus, which didn't exist 6 years ago, so there's that. And then also you do get the collector pin, which I do like. I mean, I remember not really caring too much about the coins, but the pins are actually pretty nice. They're good quality. You can see you got his head on there in the middle of the matrix of leadership. As a semi-pin collector, this is a little bit better to have. Those collector coins, while they were nice, were in that really difficult package that you would have to absolutely destroy to get them out. At least this, it's in a little baggie, and you can put it inside here. So, I mean, I feel like that's a little bit better. Maybe I would like the coins more if they didn't have that very elaborate sort of packaging, but it is what it is. And here we have him open up and out of his packaging. Now, again, I never really opened these in the other one. They were still left in the bag, but you do have that nice collector card. Obviously, again, updated product shots with them. Even here on the front has more of that cartoon look, which is this is based off of. And then the instructions. Again, I don't know really what's different on here. I do know that, again, you got the more animation look right there. The side here shows off his effect parts, which is like this little smoke thing. You got his weapon, which I'm sure is the same because that was the exact same sort of thing on the original figure. You do have his disruptor blaster. So all of this is probably very, very similar to what we got before. But here's the figure, and absolutely a huge improvement, in my opinion. It's not to say that the original is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you guys know me, and I love that cartoon look. That is what I grew up with. A lot of the G1 toys I honestly don't care too much for because they don't represent what they look like in the show. I mean, Ironhide and Ratchet, those don't look anything like they looked in the cartoon. So for me, this is a huge improvement. Now, his accessories, he does come with his blaster. It is exactly the same in terms of the mold. Here's the original one. You can see this is more done in a kind of off-white. It is a semi-glossy paint, which does look really very sharp, whereas this one has a nice silver paint on there. You can see that the handle for this one is blue. This one is a lighter blue. This also can be attached, much like the other one did. You just pop this down, and then you have to detach all this. You got the little port right there that you would plug that in right on the inside there. So I'm not going to go ahead and show it because that is a pain in the butt to have to do. But you do have this, which is nice. Some new accessories are some new faces for him. He's got a neutral one on there now. Coming in to take a closer look. You have a happy looking face, and if it focuses, there we go. You got a happy face and more of a shocked, screaming kind of face. Both of these look really very nice. The updated head sculpt is really a nice addition to this figure, again, giving a little bit more of that accurate sort of look. And these swap out really very easily. They just kind of plug in for the most part. And then the big accessory is he comes with a smoke effect. Now the smoke effect actually looks really very nice. It's, as you can see, semi-translucent, but done up in a very cloudy smoke color, which looks cool. You can use this, I mean, it doesn't really plug in or anything, but you can use this in a couple different ways. Obviously, there's this exhaust pipe. You just literally just put it underneath there. I mean, it doesn't attach, which kind of wish maybe it could attach, but you can easily just set it there and it creates that look very nicely. The other thing that you can do is you can actually split this. So if you wanted to do a couple different looks, like maybe you want to have that kind of going like that, maybe that like that, you can create kind of a dual effect look with them. When you do separate it, it does get a little bit more translucent through there. This is the only problem I would say is because this intersection's hollow. If you did it like this on both sides to kind of replicate the tire effect. The problem, though, is when you look on the inside here, that's sunken in. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of wish that they gave us 2 of these and not made them split. And I really don't know why they couldn't, seeing how a lot of this is just reused. I feel like they could have given us 2 of these. So if anybody's got 2 of these and wants to sell me the other one, I'll buy it from you. But I do like the effect. I mean, obviously, it's from his exhaust, so he only has 1 exhaust bit. So it's okay. I feel like the splitting thing works a little bit better in the robot mode, but it still has that concave sort of look. The outer side looks fantastic. I love the bubble effect on there. I mean, it really did a good job of creating a smoke look, which is not easy to do. So there is that. Now here is the old figure and here's the new one. Obviously this is what you're seeing in terms of the biggest differences, the color scheme. Now these attach, you can still use those on here if you want to. It does still have that molded piece where you can attach that, but you don't really need it anymore. But taking a look at it, now this is meant to replicate a real version of it. If this car was going around, the real look for it would be something like this. You have the different sponsor logos all throughout there. You do have the Nissan Fairlady Z logo right on the front. This takes all of those off except for the racing number on there. Obviously, because in the cartoon, he did not have any of these. You can see that the red is a little bit more kind of watered down of sorts. This is a very bright, vibrant red. This is a little bit more washed out of sorts. You can see he does not have the smoke tactics right up there. That's just done in a nice bluish tint. You got that on the side and of course on the back as well. One of the huge improvements, I loved this Autobot logo. I love this one even more. That looks glorious. It's a lot bigger. Again, much more animation accurate. You do notice though that the Fairlady Z section has not been painted. It's still molded in there, but you don't need to have it really there. So that's cool. You got the headlights and everything. The front section looks good. The blue is also a little bit muted, which again, is perfectly fine for me. Again, this is how he looked in the cartoon, and that works for me. If you guys like the real world look for him, which I know a lot of people do, this is still a terrific figure. You're not wrong with either of these. It's just your personal preference. You can see that the hubcaps have gotten a nice white paint, or kind of like an off-white on there, whereas this one had a kind of muted silver. Then you take a look at the back, and instead of having the taillights and such, that's now just painted because, again, cartoon. I know, I hear it all the time, and people are going to be like, oh, that's ugly. You get less paint application. You don't really get less paint applications because it's still very nicely painted. I mean, I guess technically you do because you don't have the different sponsor logos and you don't have that on there. But, I mean, it balances out, in my opinion, very, very well. And again, still creates that cartoon look, which is perfect. Oh, I'm dropping them. Now, as I talked about, you don't really need to use these on him. He never used this in the cartoon to my knowledge. It's entirely possible he did. It's just weapon storage. If you did want to, though, you can still separate this. This gets a little bit tricky to do, though. You can lift this up. Now, he does have a new section here. These bits in there, no, maybe you can't. I thought maybe you could still do that. Oh, wait. No, that's still kind of in the way. So I guess you can't really do that now, because there's a piece here that kind of gets in the way of it. And that just kind of makes it all ugly in general. So you can kind of see that little piece. I don't know if you can see it. That little piece right there kind of gets in the way when it's in this configuration. So you can't bring this all the way down and click that into place. So I guess you really can't do that like you could with this, but it is what it is. But this is where you're seeing the big difference. Primarily, you got these that are now permanently attached. We'll take a closer look, obviously, in robot mode. But these just attach to little sections there. And again, we'll take a look at it more. So the size is also a big difference here. So transformation is the exact same. So I am going to skip it. I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way, but we don't need to see the transformation because it transforms the exact same way as the original Smokescreen, also Prowl and Blue Streak. So don't need to show it, but in case you need any help or anything of that nature, I will put a link right down in the video description where you can go to my original review of this guy and get any help that you may need. But utilizing some of that good old-fashioned optobotomist movie magic, we're going to go from the new Smokescreen looking like this to looking like this. And again, primarily what you're going to see is a difference in terms of the paint details. I know that I am sounding like a broken record, but this is just far more accurate to the way that the cartoon looked. Now, as I said, with the original one, you had these little pieces right here that you would have to take these and then bring these in, and you would slide these in. This is what you had to do for his shoulder section. You put them on like that. You know, and honestly, it wasn't that bad, but it was ridiculously oversized by comparison. You can see what the difference here is now. Basically what they did was remolded this small little piece right here that came out and now permanently attaches to the smaller shoulder cannon. And you can see that, again, it just creates more of an animation accurate sort of appearance. Again, it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's just a matter of personal preferences. The other thing that's different is the head. It has been, kind of get these out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. The head has been remolded. It's not as big as the original one is. It's a little bit more narrow. And you can see a lot of the differences with the little crest right there. Obviously, the color is a little bit different, but this is a little bit fatter right down in the lower section. And his face is a little bit wider as well, where you can see the new one is a little bit more slender. You also couldn't swap out the face. For this, just kind of pull this out. Like I said, you just have a fairly closed mouth, neutral look for him. You have the smiling face and then the more aggressive, angry face. And you just put that in there, push that in, and now you can have him smiling, which I think looks pretty cool. You know, the cartoons were a lot of times fairly happy. This face would probably be a good one for that Masterpiece Plus Prowl. I don't know if they gave him a new face. I never got that one. Maybe I should get that one in Blue Streak. Let me know. Do you guys think that I should get those ones? But get this face for a recreation of him getting shot in the animated movie. The rest of it, though, I mean, you can see bring these bits down. Now that's just going to pop off here. I'm just going to take those off for now. Rest of the differences you can again see. I mean, obviously the hubcaps are going to be different. The decals or painted detail on his wings are different. The upper arms are now more in line with the blue color that he has here, whereas like this one kind of matched with the other one. You can see there is a slight difference in terms of the paint detail. Instead of black for the forearms and the waist section, it is now done in a very dark gray, but really nice still nonetheless. Instead of the silver for the thighs, he now has that nice glossy white paint. The red obviously is different between the two. You can kind of see the little little fill-in area. Here is red, whereas the original one had the blue fill-in area, and then obviously the back of the car being the front area of his feet are going to be different. So in terms of the molded differences, really that's about it. There's not a ton. It's just all done to create that more cartoon aesthetic. Articulation wise is the exact same. The head moves left and right, can look up and down, get a pretty good range of motion with it. Shoulders round, in and out. They rotate, they bend. You got 2 points there. The hands here rotate, the fingers open up. You do have a waist rotation. This one's really stiff, whereas the ball joint is a little bit looser on this, but I could easily tighten that. You got the little skirt pieces here that slide out, forward, back, in and out of the hip section. The thigh rotates. You got 2 bends here at the knee. You got ankle tilt of sorts, not a ton, but it's kind of sort of there. And then of course the forward and back. So all the articulation that the previous figure had, he has as well. Like I said, it's one of those things where it depends on what you want your characters to look like. I'm putting that upside down. For me, I like that cartoon style. So that's the look that I want to create. That's the look that I want to go with in my display. So for me, these plus figures really do plus things up for me. They take great looking figures, ones that I really didn't have too much of an issue with before, and just makes them better. They're so much fun when I can look at them and remember how they looked in the cartoon. Neither version is wrong though. I mean, again, you can kind of take these, I didn't really show that, but you can put that there. You can put that kind of off on the side. It's, again, personal preference so that you can do whatever you really want with it. But great figure, highly recommended. So if this version of Smokescreen is one that you would like to add to your collection, he is available right now online at Big Bad Toy Store. So for that, I'll put a link right down in the video description where you can go to BBTS and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one small thing for me, and that's simply just to smash that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, again, I want to send a huge shout out to my patron Stacy, whose support has made this review entirely possible. And if you'd like information on how you can become a patron and help support my channel directly like Stacy has, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotimus. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.